Is today the day that we see number 12, Shedeur Sanders, take the field for the Cleveland Browns for the first time in the regular season? What happened against our division rival, Baltimore Ravens? Stay tuned for later this Sunday, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into the Browns Report. I am your host, Joey O'Donohue. You know we're going to be going live for a watch party. Join in to see if Shedeur gets in and to evaluate both rookies today, potentially. We're going to tell you the possibility about 12 getting in, how it would happen, what would the circumstances be to make this happen. But first, we're in a sub-battle here with our Ravens channel at Chat Sports. Browns fans, if there's any fan base in the league that pisses me off more than others, it's Ravens fans and it's Steelers fans. Let's beat those Ravens fans and their channel here at Chat Sports. Look at this. We just took a 9-sub lead in the sub-battle. Smash that subscribe button. Free Cleveland Browns content for you. Join the party. All right, so here's the thing about the Cleveland Browns quarterback depth chart. Well, there's only 2 quarterbacks on the active roster at the moment, and they're both rookies. It's just Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. Of course, Bailey Zappi on the practice squad. And we just haven't seen much out of Dillon Gabriel this season. The numbers are bad. The film is bad. And so it begs the question, right? Could the Browns bench Dillon Gabriel, and could it happen today against the Ravens, right? What would need to happen for this to be the case? We're going to talk about the circumstance. We're going to talk about what could make this happen. And I showed you guys before that Dillon Gabriel is just, his PFF grade's the worst in the league, right? And so against a division opponent, I think everybody in Cleveland wants to win this football game, myself included. And so that's how Shedeur could probably start to make some waves. And Browns beat reporter Mary Kay commented on this. She said, there's still 8 games left. There will be opportunities for Shedeur Sanders to play. He may even play on Sunday, depending on what's going to happen with Dillon and what the Baltimore Ravens defense does. There could be a world in which Shedeur gets in this football game, and everybody will get their wish. And I say, yes, please. Let's evaluate what we have in number 12. If today really could be the day, which Browns beat reporter Mary Kay saying is a possibility, the thought of it gets me a little bit excited about it. I've been wanting to see him since day one. We've gone through 2 quarterbacks that have played poorly for us, and I think we should evaluate one more before we get to the NFL draft, not knowing what we're going to need. And Kevin Stefanski was asked and reminded about Jimmy Haslam's wishes in the preseason. A reporter said to him, Jimmy Haslam said during training camp that you knew that seeing both young quarterbacks at some point this season was important. So where is Shedeur at as far as his development? And do you have a timetable of when you would like to take a look at him? Stefanski said, yeah, I don't think it's fair to speculate. We're committed to getting better as an offense. Dillon is certainly committing to improving every which way he can. And all the while, all of our players, young players, are developing and working so hard behind the scenes to make sure that they're getting better on a daily basis. Now, Stefanski didn't want to give us an exact time because they're trying to push Gabriel as the starter. But I'm starting to think it's inevitable that he's benched at some point this season. I think we're in for a Dillon Gabriel bench, especially to the reporter's point that Jimmy Haslam said in preseason. We want to see them both. It's important to evaluate both rookies that we drafted. This is from the owner. All right, he calls the shots, right? And so if he's saying that preseason and we don't even give Shedeur a snap, it wouldn't make any sense. That's why I really think this is in the market to happen this year. The question is, will it happen today? I think it's also worth noting that the Ravens called up Shedeur on draft night, as well as the Eagles. Father Dillon Sanders told us this, and they declined that opportunity because they didn't want Shedeur to be a backup forever to Lamar and to Jalen Hurts. Now, obviously, Shedeur is in a backup role now as we speak. He's quarterback 2. However, there's more opportunity for him to become a starter in Cleveland. We're one of the most quarterback-needy teams of all time. And so there's actually a path here with the Browns. That might have not been the case with the Ravens. So it would be an interesting game for him to actually get into storyline-wise. Are you ready for it, Browns fans? Do you want Shedeur to play today? Type Y for yes if you're ready to see him out there. Type N for no if you're like, you know what, I still want to see some Dillon Gabriel. I haven't seen enough. You can type N if that's where you're at, but I'd be typing Y for yes. I'm ready to see number 12. As far as if it will actually happen, though, even though Mary Kay is saying it could very well happen, I think it's unlikely. I mean, it would take the most absolutely disgusting first half in Browns history from Dillon Gabriel to get him benched in this game. And even then, knowing the Browns, knowing the decisions that they've made and how they have consistently tried not to put in Shedeur Sanders, they haven't even given him reps with the first teamers, right? If you benched Dillon in this game, you'd be saying it's over. We're moving on from Dillon. If you make that decision in the Ravens game, well, Shedeur should have at least had some prep then up to that point. They have not given him that. They have not shown through their actions that they want to turn to him right now. Stefanski immediately said it after the game that he's sticking with Dillon Gabriel. There's no hesitation, despite the bad performance, despite the bad numbers. And you can even go all the way back to preseason, right, when Shedeur came in as quarterback number 4 on a depth chart that had Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco and Dillon Gabriel on it. So they've never shown indication that they're going to do this. That's why I think it'd be a shock if they did it today. It would have to be one of those things that's an official, all right, we're benching Dillon Gabriel. Now let's give Shedeur all the reps in practice. And there's a lot of throws from Dillon in the Jets game that are going to make you, well, question why he's still out there. I mean, this was a simple check down to Judy. He was not pressured. And I don't know if he just lost control of the ball, but he swings it into the dirt. Then you've got a simple screen pass to Malachi Corley here. You see Corley in white towards the top of your screen. And what did Gabriel do? Sails it completely over his head. Simple screen pass. And there was daylight for Malachi Corley. I mean, the Browns said he was nominated for Rookie of the Week. I was like, is that a joke? He only had 167 yards. And if you just watched the game and each throw, there were some poor misses. Let's go to this 4th and 1 here. And, partly this is on Tommy Reese for the play call, dropping back to throw on 4th and 1. But it could have worked. You got 3 wide open receivers. Take your pick. This play results in a sack. I'm not kidding. Probably the worst thing you could have done, 4th quarter, 4th and 1. Even Judy ends up freeing up later in this play. But there's 3 wide open. The Tillman, Judkins, take your pick. And it results in a sack. And so I have enough of a sample size to honestly make my claim. I haven't seen an impressive facet of Dillon Gabriel's game through 5 weeks. And I hate to say it. I really did try to give him a fair shot. Even though I liked Shedeur better in the draft, I've tried to come on here and root for Dillon. I just am not seeing it through the film. And as a shorter quarterback, he should be pinpoint accurate, right? He doesn't get out of the pocket as much. And if he can't really see over the line like some other guys, his best quality should be accuracy. But when you have the throws that I just put on the screen for you, missing easy ones, what does he do well? This should be the best part of his game, and we haven't seen it. Stefanski was asked about Gabriel and his improvement so far. Reporter said, Kevin, what progress have you seen from Dillon? Start 1 to start 5. What areas have you seen drastic improvement? Stefanski said, well, I think with young quarterbacks, it's understanding that there's going to be ups and downs. Can Dillon play better? Yes, he can. Can we play better around him? Yes, we can. Can we coach him better? Yes, we can. So I understand the question. But I trust that our young players at every position, and certainly at the quarterback position, are guys that are going to work their tails off to get better every single day. It sounds like he didn't answer the question. He couldn't name a single thing that Dillon Gabriel has improved on. He didn't say a single aspect of the game. He just said, yeah, we can all be better. The question was, what has Dillon Gabriel improved on through 5 weeks? And he didn't say a single thing. And so, given that we want to evaluate both quarterbacks, that's what Jimmy Haslam told us in preseason, I'd say Shedeur's time is coming. It's only a matter of time. I got my watch on. The perfect timing. Is it coming soon? I don't think it'll be today, seeing what I've seen from the Browns' actions, but predict it for me in the comments section, Browns fans. Call it right now. When will Shedeur Sanders be the starting quarterback for the Browns? Comment the week down below. You can even put today if you think he's going to come in, but I think it's going to be probably towards the last 5 weeks of the seasons, maybe at the earliest that Tennessee Titans game. Bookmark that and comment your answer down below. Coming up, there is a scenario where Shedeur does get into the Ravens game today, and I'm not going to say it's a Dillon Gabriel injury. No. There's a different scenario where you might actually see him get in, so we're going to talk about that. But before we do, I'll tell you that this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. The hard-hitting football action is even better with Prize Picks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. Just keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Football is in full swing now on Sundays, and I'm big into daily fantasy with Prize Picks. I honestly love doing it. I'm obsessed with it. It makes all the games more entertaining. And before the Browns play, I lock in on all my players in my lineup and their player projections. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. You can also follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app and copy their lineups in one click. Whether it's a friend, a celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like, hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on Prize Picks. You may find my lineup in that new feed tab, and you might not love it right now, Browns fans, but what we've seen, I think this is what's going to happen. Baker Mayfield's going to have more than half a passing touchdown. Andre Schmidt, more than half a PAT made. We got to get 1 touchdown, surely, right? And then Dillon Gabriel is due for an interception. More than half a pick is in my lineup. If you want to try and make some money, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. Okay, the more likely scenario that we see Shedeur that isn't a Dillon Gabriel benching is a blowout scenario. Either way, if the Browns are blowing the Ravens out, sure, or if Cleveland's getting blown out by Baltimore, I think this would be the day that you more likely see them actually sub in quarterback 2. Remember, in the blowout loss against Miami, they kept Gabriel in. I mean, we're talking 4 minutes were left in the fourth quarter, up 31-6, and they kept Gabriel in there. It was a little fishy. It's a little weird. Again, all their actions indicate that they don't want Shedeur out there for whatever reason. I think Stefanski probably the main proponent of this. But it was Gabriel's first win. And so some reports speculated that, well, let's let Dillon stay the entire game, start to finish, to get his W. I still think it was weird, but that's the only explanation that could have been made for that situation. Today, against the Baltimore Ravens, there would be no excuse in a blowout not to put in QB2 for the last 4-5 minutes if the game's completely out of hand. And so I do think that this would be the way you actually see Shedeur get in against the Ravens, and that's why I think it's worth watching the game. Multiple aspects of this game a Browns fan would be interested in. First of all, it's Baltimore. I want to beat them no matter what, no matter where we are in the standings, no matter what the experts say the odds are to make the playoffs. When we play Baltimore, I want to destroy them. And then we can evaluate both rookie quarterbacks potentially. There's more we need to see from Dillon. He's still the starting quarterback. Let's see why Stefanski's making that decision. Like I said, I want to beat Baltimore as a Browns fan. And then with the possibility, even entertaining that fact that Shedeur could get in today is another reason to watch this game and have it be a little bit more box office, whether that's a blowout scenario or a benching scenario, like reporters have speculated. So get ready. We're going live for this Week 11 matchup. Browns hosting Baltimore. We lost to Baltimore earlier in the season on the road, but now it's a home game. Stefanski actually has a decent record at home against Baltimore, a winning record at that. Vegas is sleeping on us. We're +8. Come on, Browns fans. Let's get rowdy. Let's get hyped up. Join our live and tell me who you got winning this one. Type CLE if you got the Cleveland Browns coming away with a victory. You can type BAL if you are realistic/pessimistic. Put that in the comment section. But you know what? I think any given Sunday, give me the Cleveland Browns, CLE. Type it in that comment section. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this edition of the Browns Report. Make sure you hit that sub button. And like I said, join our live later today. See how many quarterbacks take the field. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time.